Hey there, Virgo Sun, Virgo Moon, Virgo Rising. It's Maggie from Moon Directed. Welcome to my channel. I'm just throwing cards around here. Here we work with the energy of the moon to see how we can best utilize it to move our life forward in the most positive way possible. I have changed my format again, but I think you will like it. I'm going to start with the channel message, and then I'm going to cover the next 2 weeks. They will be time stamped, so you should be able to find the one you want. And so let's go ahead and get into it. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up button that says, hey, I appreciate your time and effort. And I appreciate you appreciating me. And a really good way for you to get the channel message to really resonate with you would be to leave me a comment. It just needs to be like a little emoji or something so I can put your name in my book of names so I can meditate on that when I go to get the messages. And your message was really... Okay, so there was this meadow, and it really reminded me of a meadow I knew growing up, but it was off to the side where the woods was deeper. And but what I saw along the edge of the woods was were white tulips, and I thought, what are they doing there? White tulips? That's weird. So as I got closer, though, they kind of morphed from tulips into trillium, and I think I was more comfortable with that vision. But then when I looked up the spiritual meaning of both those words, I think they both were supposed to be there for a while. So anyway, so here's this meadow, and the trees are really tall, and they were pretty close together, so it was dense floor of the woods, and there's like no underbrush, and you were pacing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I said, the spirit, what are they doing? And I wrote it down because I don't want to get it wrong. It said, Spirit said, looking for the path into the unknown. Looking for the path into the unknown. So the white, of course, would be spirit, right? The white represents spirit. White flowers, that's spirit and being spiritually guided and protected. And it felt like you were looking, and with all that white spiritual flowers there, that you were being protected through this process. But then I looked it up, and so white tulips are worthiness and forgiveness, spiritual insight and wisdom. So that was first, and then that was followed up with the trillium, which is purity, recovery, divinity, and spiritual light. And I kept on looking, and then I found that it said it is about your consciousness and your ability to have survived your fears. So it's releasing survival fears and the resurrection. And so getting past your fears and being willing to take that risk into the unknown for the next steps, because, you know, something has been going on with you. And so that looked, you know, encouraging, very encouraging. All right, let's go ahead and get into week one. Week one is May 11th through the 17th. And we start out with the moon being in Capricorn. So this is that earthy energy of needing to find balance, accepting responsibility for your part in it and what you need to do in order to bring about the balance in your life. And so how do we get there, right? And what do you do? So Monday the 11th is also interesting in that Saturn is going to start moving retrograde. So the ground that we've covered since January is a chance now to kind of get into that energy and look at it again and see what lessons were learned from it. What did we learn from it? This is a fellow, it's going to be retrograding back into Capricorn. Right now it's still in Aquarius. It's at like 2 or 3 degrees of Aquarius. So it's kind of like, when I was feeling into this energy, what I saw were, if you're a gardener and being Virgo, you may be, there is the daylilies. You know how they grow in big, big clumps, and then you could go in the spring and you can split them, and they will fill in again, and you can propagate by spreading them out to different parts of your yard or giving them to the neighbor. And I actually saw someone passing them over the fence to a neighbor. And so it is an opportunity to spread something that's really been successful for you. Something that's working, you can expand on it and you will promote more growth, and you can spread it out a little more. So the cards that just came out for this for you are Soul Calling, focus on your passions, your hobbies, for new avenues of abundance. Okay, well, that really makes sense. Everybody got, you know, it was just the general energy, but if you think about it, your hobbies, your habits, whatever you enjoy doing, right? would be, if you were a gardener, that's something you enjoy doing. So you could create more avenues of abundance from the things and your passions that you already love to do that will help you allow the money to flow. And you also, so that came out with your soul calling. So what are you passionate about? And then you have success. Decide and define your idea of success. As you do, the vision can manifest and guide your dreams more clearly. So what sparks you up? What gets you up out of bed in the morning and makes you go, it's going to be a great day? What is that? Because that is where your soul is leading you to, calling you. I think everybody is kind of going to be looking for a new way of manifesting in the physical world, financial security based on what has happened recently. And so what is it? Where can you go? What can you do? I actually know a Virgo who has recently just taken some of her hobbies and started creating a little Etsy shop for them, and she likes to carve and burn wood and paint and make little garden signs and stuff, and they are selling, and it's really helping her out. So that is just an example. That is not necessarily, wow, you have so much happening here, Virgo. Okay, so another thing to keep in mind is you can get where you want to go by following your passion. Tuesday, the moon is going to move into Aquarius at 11:39 in the morning, and then it's going to conjunct with Saturn. And Saturn is all about, boundaries and healthy boundaries and where to create them. Venus is going to turn retrograde, and Mars is going to move into Pluto, depending on where you live. Those things will be happening either on Tuesday or Wednesday. It just kind of depends on where you are in the world, right? But that's the energy of this moon in Aquarius, all these things happening. So the planets are slowing down. Mars moving into water sign, deep water. Pisces is slowing things down. And there's this emphasis about what have you learned, what's important to you, and do your realities of how you view partnership. It could be business or it could be personal, and also your relationship with money. Do these things, how do they mesh with the people in your life, particularly with your intimate partner? So things are going to be slowing down and giving you a chance to really kind of look at that. And we just had the North Nodes shifting into Gemini, and so there is also going to be this idea about what gets me excited, what lights me up, and where can I do some research. So you have all these energies going on that are kind of interesting, kind of exciting. And so yes, look at this. You have aspiration, confidence, and strength. So the moon in this position is about finding what is beautiful in your life and knowing that you are resilient, and that when something is pruned away in your life, it promotes an opportunity for new growth, and life experiences create wisdom. And so you can take that knowledge and experience and that wisdom and create it a world of wisdom to tap into. So what do you aspire to? And then having the confidence and the strength and the knowing, the wisdom of knowing that you can create something based on what really sparks your happiness. On Thursday also we have Jupiter going retrograde. So Jupiter is still in Capricorn, and so it's still trying to figure out how to be the CEO of your life, and how can you expand, and how can you do these things. And so the information that Jupiter's been in Capricorn since the beginning of the year, and so it's kind of going to go over that same area of how do I expand, how do I break out of these boundaries. It's sandwiched currently between transformative energy of Pluto, and then you've got Capricorn, Saturn over here. So it's kind of like, how do I take the transformation and expand it, but I'm still being bound by these boundaries I don't particularly like. It's going to take till the end of 2020 until Saturn and Jupiter will come in conjunction on the solstice in the winter. And when they do that, then we break through and you break free and you really start expanding things. So right now it's kind of like this research and this time to figure it out, and how can I do this? And so when the moon is in this position, it's asking you, how can you take what you already have and manipulate it to make it work for you. And I don't mean manipulation in a bad way. I mean, like, how can you rework things? Where can you revise things? What needs to be done? And it starts with counting your blessings and understanding that you are spiritually guided and protected through this process. You are protected. I love this picture. You are being spiritually guided and protected through this process. And you have, yes, you have communication and journey. So half the treasure of the journey is the path to finding it. Half the treasure is the journey on the path to finding it. What are they looking for? They're looking for the path into the unknown. So instead of being frustrated because you haven't figured it out yet, because you don't have the answers, because Virgo, you're a researcher, you will find them. Have the confidence. What do you want to do? And then communicate. So this communication might be speaking to people to get information and finding a mentor. It could be learning something new. It could be communicating to the people in your life that are significant to you that, you know, I'm kind of looking at doing things a little differently. Like, I want to change this up. This is what's important to me. So while you are searching for the path into the unknown, you are being protected and guided. You are being protected and guided. And so enjoy this part of the journey. Enjoy saying, okay, well, maybe this. No, you know, after I did a little research on it, I don't think I'm comfortable with that. Well, how about this? Because we've got a lot of planets doing the retrograde thing, which is going to give you a lot of opportunity to look. So when the moon, I'm so excited about the card you just got. Just a quick couple of things. Friday is kind of a foggy thinking day. So when you're like, well, I'm trying to think, but I'm not really getting anything done, you know, that's okay. It's just kind of the way the energy is that day. Don't worry about it so much. But Saturday will be a really good day for finishing up projects. And then we get to Sunday when the moon moves into Aries at 9:36 in the morning, and this is a really good day to pay attention to your dreams and start planning about your next action steps and what are you resistant to. The moon in this position is about opposition, and then we have the resistance, but look, it's a breakthrough. Like, you can push your way through. And what is the card that you got? You got the Green Man, which is all about abundance. So what do you need to push through? Where's the resistance coming from? Is it coming from your attitude? Because I think for most people, that is the place where we are finding the most resistances in, you know, what we think and what we believe about ourselves to be true, and how can we, you know, manifest and push things and make them work in a way that truly works for us. So we're going to go ahead and get ready here to move into, I want to save this card out, and to move into the second week. So if you want to come back and check this out next week so that it's fresh in your mind, that's great. Or stick around and let's do that. And while you're waiting for me to get ready here, go ahead and leave me a comment or hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It helps me grow my channel, but mostly it's just nice to know that people care. Okay, so here we are, week two, which is the 18th of May through the 24th, and the moon is still in Aries as we walk into this week. It's still this energy of how do I create and how do I manifest abundance into my life? And the energy is about what do I need to compromise? And by compromise, I don't mean compromise your dreams. I mean maybe compromise as in, what do I have to give up? What do I need to release? And a lot of times it's about the resistance to change, being a mutable sign. That's probably not necessarily that for you, but maybe it's something like, oh, for instance, I studied a long time and put a lot of money into studying to be a dietitian, and then I had to release the idea of it because it just, oh gosh, there were some things about it that just wasn't working for me. And so lots of time and money, and it was really hard for me to say to myself, well, that's okay. I'm actually really happy with the choice. So the flow of abundance is still, I'm doing fine. But it was a really hard decision. And so sometimes it's like that. Can you surrender? What can you release? What can you give up? Because Monday and Tuesday, there's a lot of kind of tough energy. And so I think it's really going to be pushing your buttons because we've got the moon going to square off with Pluto and then with Jupiter and then with Saturn. And it's got oh, I feel like I need to do something. There's stuff I should be doing. And also some wounding, some deep wounding might be coming up because the moon is going to come into conjunction with the deep, with Chiron, which is about healing those deep wounds. So you might notice that energy too. So there's going to be like a lot of tension around, I feel like I need to do something. I need to take action. It's kind of like you're sitting there and you're revving your engine, you're revving your engine, you're revving your engine, but the light won't turn green. And not yet, but soon. And then on Tuesday, Tuesday night at 10 p.m., the moon is going to move into Taurus. And so really, we're talking Wednesday. And so Wednesday, it's going to conjunct with Uranus, which might bring up some feelings that could completely surprise you. And Thursday is this energy. When the moon is in Taurus, it kind of feels like I need to think about the practical way that I can get to where I need to go. So what do I need to release in order to bring in the peace into my life, and then kind of let it rest while you negotiate with yourself, while you're ruminating on it. It's kind of a thinking energy. It's a kind of a dreaming energy. What is my actual dream, and what do I need to let go of in order to do that? Because if I do that, there'll be so much peace when I am taking the right path through the woods, right? So also on the Wednesday the 20th at 9:49 in the morning, the sun is going to move into Gemini, and this is energy of what are you curious about? And it's flirty and it's fun and it's chatty, and also ruled by Mercury as your sign is. And so it's comfortable energy, and you have 28 days to really like get in there and think about what you want in a research kind of way. This is kind of like, how do I catch the rhythm? Because the North Node has moved. It moved there on the 5th. It has moved into Gemini. I'll be there for 18 months. And we have a new moon happening on the 22nd in Gemini. And so we've got the North Node there and a new moon there. And it's kind of like, how do I catch the rhythm of the changes? And what's going to make me happy? And how can I start moving this thing forward in the way that is very comfortable? And there's this tug, this push, and this pull, but there's an opportunity to look at the future and see both sides of an issue, the possibilities. And so it's about choosing your path. It is about choosing your path and what will lead to the happiness for you in the long term. And so sometimes a little bit of short term negotiating, what am I willing to give up now so I can get to where it is I really want to go later, kind of going on. We've got Taurus going to conjunct Mercury. So Taurus is an earth sign, you're an earth sign, Mercury rules both of you. I think this energy that day will really, really allow you to do some communicating with the people that need to hear what it is that you are thinking about, and bounce those ideas off and really figure out which way you want to go with it. There's the opportunity to be a little negative here, and I don't think that's going to affect your sign as much as it might others. So always remember that what you focus on is, so focus on the positive, focus on the path, focus on where you want to go. The North Node in Gemini says, where do you want to go? What direction do you want to head off in? And you have friendship. Seek out your soul family, surround yourself with positive people, spend more time socializing. So, I mean, we've got this energy of social going on. We've got just an opportunity to really communicate with people about where it is you want to go. This new moon is a new beginning. It's a big new beginning. It takes 18 months really for a new moon, the seed you plant, if you work it, to really get to where you want to go on a big major change. And with the North Node there, that is like supported the whole way through. There's this peeking through and looking to see where it is you want to go. But there's this acceptance. This is acceptance of divine help. This is acceptance of a situation. This is acceptance of the support of your family and your friends. So lean into that this week. Lean into talking to them and seeing what do they think about your idea and how can they help and are they on board, especially if we're talking about a significant other, right? It helps to be in that way. So look at this. Ooh, what is that? I want another card with that. It says temptation. The desire for excessive gain and accumulation leads to misfortune. The greatest contentment is in knowing when you've had enough, and the temptation is banished. Escape from the trap that imprisons you. So, are you trying to stay where you are because you're afraid of the risk? Okay, my nose is itching. This is when, okay, so Gemini has two sides to it, right? It's like the trickster and it's the party animal, right? It's like both things. And so you definitely want to be in really good communication with people and doing your research. So you have focus that came out to clarify. Stay focused and get the job done. Use your intuition to plan things well. Be flexible in your approach. There is nothing you can't accomplish once you set your mind to it. Don't be distracted. You are on target. And so I think get rich quick schemes would be something to definitely be watching out for. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Do your research, right? But I think focus step by step. Because you have the abundance card here. You can get where you want to go. What is your aspiration? But keep it real as possible. Oh, wow. Look at all these cards. So, balancing spirituality and practicality. Ooh, work through your fears. Adjustments are required. And emotions are running high. All right. So, yeah, there's a lot of stress around the idea of completely changing things up for yourself. I can see that. A lot of stress. But here's the good news. Here's the good news is you can do this. There's no rush, right? There's no rush. Okay, so say you're looking for a job and maybe you've lost your job. Yes, there's a rush to pay your bills, so figure that out. But the big change, the long range plan, that baby steps, right? So, okay, you take a job to pay your bills because you've got you got stuff you got to do, right? That's a responsibility that you have. But that doesn't mean that you get sucked in and you don't get to also chase down what your soul is calling you to do, what will bring you the ultimate sense of feeling of success and joy and happiness. So this might be a week where you really need to ground yourself, be very practical, bring your focus down, and if you haven't been outside barefoot in a while, try to do that. And then we have overcome your challenges. So yes, you're gonna have to think your way through it. You have a lot of opportunity to do that. But I have here on Sunday, research your great idea. So researching, being really sure, talking to your family and friends that you trust, and don't jump at something just because it looks like a really great opportunity, right? So slow and steady wins the race here. Even though Gemini wants to go quick, the energy really says slow down, take your time. What have you learned, and how can you place your next step carefully on the path? All right. So, wow, what a crazy reading. Okay, I will see you back here next week when we will talk about that 28 days of Gemini season and how it's going to affect you. And I call those the monthlies, so it's actually the season of Gemini. I will see you then. You take care. Have a great week.